Ooh, I got to take the mute button off. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Fishing Live. I'm your host, Matt Gutchess, the Awakening Angler, and I'm here for you. And let's talk a little fishing tonight. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew, Chip. Got a couple people with us already. I put up a let's get into some housekeeping here before we get into talking about fishing and whatnot. I put a poll up after last week's live. I had a few people say that they thought they might prefer keeping it at 25 places for Walleye Fest as opposed to the 10 I was thinking of with larger payouts across the board for 10. But so I put a poll up and let's see what everybody thinks. We have plenty of time. It looks like right now, tentatively, tickets will go on until tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow. We are working out all the final kinks we've been testing for 4 days now, making sure everything works. Mark Webb, Scott DeGata, Don Terry, Merlin, Brian Hammond, Jim G. What's up, buddy? Okay, let's jump in. It's April 1st. I saw a lot of weird stuff online today, so I stopped looking. Like, every time I look around Facebook or something, had all kinds of crazy stuff going on. I saw, although I'm assuming this was an April Fool's joke, I see that they broke the Minnesota state record walleye. Was almost 19 pounds. That's an absolute giant. I don't know if that's John Karnowski. What's going on, neighbor? I don't know if that was an April Fool's joke or not. I saw one guy put up that he shot a turkey this morning. And then I saw later on in the day that he said, "Oh, hey, everybody, I'm only kidding." So I'm assuming the internet melted down when everybody thought that he actually went out and did that a month early. So Tammy and Mike Hoover, how's everybody doing? So by a show of hands, and I'm not raising my hand because I stupid worked all day. Who went trout fishing today? I saw a thing Don Terry did. Rumble Seat, how you doing, Bob? Don, I saw your pictures here actually 10 minutes ago when I was getting ready to come on and get everything signed up. So Don Terry caught 11 rainbows right on. Let me turn my phone down so my notifications stop making crazy noises. All right. That was a text message from one of my web developers who's working tirelessly right at the moment, trying to get the inner workings of Walleye Fest to mesh. Yes, I have created some new things this year. And part of that creating process is making sure it all works on the back end. And that, if you say when everybody goes and buys their tickets, you'll see there's questions. And those questions are loaded. I mean, those questions determine what optional boards. Now you don't have to, again, that's why they're called optional, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But we're busy. We're busy. The next 5 weeks are going to be flat out. I didn't get in touch with him today because I knew he was busy and I was hanging sheetrock all day. I talked to Nick Sokolowski the other day from Soko Charters and Soko Baits, and one of the bump boards that we will be selling on the website here for Walleye Fest as part of the ticket process. If you want to buy a bump board, I'll have 3 or 4 options, one of which is Nick's bump board. He makes an aluminum one, a blue aluminum one. Got got his name on it and everything. And, support local. I'm all about supporting local. I'm local. What we do is local. And you'll see everywhere along my website, everything we do, it's all about bringing the local community closer together. By no means is it trying to separate people. Not at all. My goal is to bring communities together, and from going out and partnering with some great local sponsors, Bob Johnson Chevrolet, Dakota Lithium, Brewerton Speedway. The list goes on. Those are just, getting with Brewerton Speedway this year. That's a big deal. Now we don't ever have to worry about parking again. Come Sunday for the weigh-ins, or in years to come, if we go back to a festival, kind of like the Bassmaster Classic meets the State Fair. If we go back to that in the coming years and we really see the turnout start to pick up, then we could do whatever we wanted over in those parking lots at the Speedway, and the great people that own and run the Brewerton Speedway have been wonderful to us. So a lot of great stuff. Merlin the Wiz says, I worked in Ithaca today and passed all the fishermen jealously. Okay, so right now Don Terry's the only one that went fishing today, huh? Nobody else got any. I invited my wife to go fishing with me this morning for opening day, and we had a late Easter dinner last night, and I said to her, we're sitting on the couch. I don't know, had to be 9:30 or so. And my wife, I don't know if everybody's wives are like this, but my wife doesn't love to get up first thing in the morning. So we started talking about when we were going to go today. And I said, well, I'd like to go early and fish for a couple hours, then come back and go to work. And I said, but we could always go in the afternoon. It's supposed to be nice today. Well, my whole day got shot. I got into hanging sheetrock, and I got home at 6:00 at night, covered in sheetrock dust. And so we didn't make it. So maybe we'll sneak out in the morning. I know today's just tradition. Growing up, here, my grandpa used to take me out of school if it was during the week, just like deer season. So he would take me out and we'd go trout fishing, and, whatever. It didn't really matter where our hunting camp was down in Cazenovia, so we could fish Chittenango. Some years we'd go over and fish 9 Mile. I grew up fishing 9 Mile all the way down to where it dumps into the Seneca. This Thursday, actually, Eric from Carpenter's Brook Fish Hatchery has invited me to go stocking this Thursday morning with the Carpenter's Brook trout stocking team. So that's something I've never done. I am super excited for that. I love doing this kind of stuff. I really do. And there'll be a full video. We'll do an interview. We'll do some shots out on the water. We'll put it together and I'll have it out, as soon as possible, maybe by the weekend. Bob Rourke, how we doing? Who was that? Chuck, I'm going to butcher your last name. When I saw the end of it, my first thought was Gargamel from the Smurfs. Rothermel. That's a mouthful. Yeah, so I grew up fishing opening day every year, and most years growing up, there was snow on the ground, snow on the banks, and you never knew what. It was a pretty rare day that, it was 50 degrees today and beautiful sunshine all day. They didn't call for it, but it was beautiful. Last year opening day, I did go opening day with a buddy of mine, Captain Todd Sheltra, and I'd always told Todd, Todd and I have known each other over half our life. We've been working together. We used to do charters and drift boat stuff together all the time when we were kids in our early 20s. And I'd always talk to him about some of these trout streams around, and we never did it. And he was always busy or usually on the river, steelhead fishing. But last year it worked, and we both went opening morning. And if anybody remembers last year, it was colder than the son of a gun. It had been raining for a week. All the creeks were high and cruddy. And we hit 4 or 5 spots. I think we did catch one little one, but everything was way up over the banks, chocolate milk, and freezing cold. In the old days, my grandpa would say that was a day for what he called garden hackle, which meant dunking a worm. And he'd put it underneath a little clear plastic trout float, put a little leader on it, piece of split shot. I mean, it was kind of like float fishing, except, 40 years ago. It worked like a charm, too. Jim G, there'll be snow Thursday. I saw that. Listen. Let's see. What's the latest everybody has seen snow in upstate New York? I can remember distinctly getting canceled on the lake Mother's Day. Not Mother's Day weekend, Mother's Day. Getting canceled on the lake because the weather was too gnarly. We woke up that morning to a foot of fresh snow. I believe myself and Todd Shelter went home, grabbed our drift boats, grabbed the guys from the lake charter boat, and took them out on the Salmon River plug fishing. And we hit them that day too, if I remember correctly, because there were still dropbacks in the river. But we floated down the river in May. Everything's green. There was flowers and stuff, and there was a foot of snow. So that's the latest that I can remember. That's the latest I remember snow. Let's see. Don Terry, I was talking to Rob Gaffredo. I saw he went down to Grout Brook this morning. He said he wasn't seeing many trout fishermen. I used to skip school and trout fish, duck hunt, pheasant hunt, and, of course, deer hunt on opening day. Yeah, see, but in those days, though, Don, I mean, opening day of Southern deer season was on a Monday. It was the Monday of Thanksgiving. I've talked about this many times before. It's no different than Walleye Fest staying the first weekend of opening weekend of walleye season. That was the tradition. I don't know. This year, Monday the 1st is going to be, or the 1st of May is going to be on like a Tuesday or something. I mean, yeah, some people will do it. Today, trout season was on a Monday. I mean, some people will go do it, but it's not like it was, which is why I don't really understand the concept of going back to. It's funny. The DEC took deer season and took it away from the standard Monday of Thanksgiving week and moved it to a Saturday opener because they said the logic was that there would be more hunter recruitment if we could get them to a Saturday opening day. Now, the reverse of that is the case for walleye and bass season, which was always the first Saturday in May for walleye and the third Saturday in June for bass. I never saw that was complicated. It was that way our whole life up until 2 years ago. So then they took that from traditional weekend openers and put it back to just a day on the calendar, which only 2 out of every 7 years is going to fall on a weekend. So as opposed to it being on a weekend every single year. Figure that out. Don Terry, did Rob say they caught any fish down at Grout Brook today? That was another favorite place of my Gramps. And if anybody's ever fished Grout Brook in the south end of Skinny Atlas Lake, at least the last time I was there, which was a long time ago. I mean, I went back once, I think after he died in my early 20s. And there was the first bridge downstream or upstream. I got to think it flows into Skinny Atlas. It must flow into Skinny Atlas. So the last bridge before the lake, we would park right there and then walk, and there's fish some of those holes in there until you got down to the mouth of the lake. And that was tricky fishing. That water was gin clear, and they were hawky. I don't ever remember catching one down there, to be honest with you. Get stuff in there. Okay, real quick, we're going to circle back around. I do have a poll up here in the going on, and that is about. So this year, myself and my partners, we were discussing, months ago, and we said, do you think people would like it better if we went from 25 places for the main leaderboard down to 10 places, kept the same amount of money, and made all 10 payouts bigger as opposed to spreading it out over 25 places? I said, well, it's always been 25, and I am a fan of history and tradition. But I also saw the idea that we can have it to where you really, if you win or if you place, when it's split up 10 ways, that's a pretty big chunk of money, and I had some people say that tradition dictates that it stays 25, and so we haven't started selling tickets yet, so we have the ability to change. And I'll put this poll up, and then when I'm done with the live, I'll put the poll on Facebook as well. And I'll give it the rest of the night and to tomorrow till lunch, and we'll see what the results say. Right now, I'm looking at it, and it's 50-50. So what's that tell you? It's like politics or everything else in this world. It's pretty much split down the middle. You try to please everybody. I shouldn't say that. My goal, my partner's goal, is to put on the best event that we can put on. Period. And these ideas came to me, and I'm going to run with it. If it doesn't work and everybody just fishes the main derby like they always did, oh well, it doesn't hurt anything, and you never know unless you try. But I just, all of these options and stuff like that were just simple brainstorming on my part. Listen, you're already out there on the water. You're trying to catch one big walleye, but what if you catch something else? Like, what if you catch a monster perch? I didn't see the guy's name. I saw a guy on Night Lake Diehards the other day, maybe yesterday. He had this giant perch on a scale, and it was 13 or 14 inches long, big fat egg-filled belly. It was an impressive perch, especially for up here. It was an impressive perch. If you're already in a fishing derby, why wouldn't you have the ability to have part of it be for something like that? Perch and panfish. Again, how many of us catch giant sunfish? How many of us catch giant sunfish while we're walleye fishing with any number of different baits? I mean, we know that those sunfish will inhale a blade bait, a jig and wrap, you name it. You get it near them, they'll eat it. And some of those things are really impressive. So it doesn't take anything away from the walleye fishing that you're already doing, because it's a bycatch. You're already out there. And like I say, if I had a way around bigger bump boards, I would have did it for sheep's head as well, because I love catching sheep's head. I had a lot of guys say to me last year, you can't eat them, so why do you like catching them? I don't care. I don't eat many fish to begin with. So the idea of eating one for me is not what makes me go fishing every day. Not even close. Mimi, it's a Walleye Fest. It is a Walleye Fest, and we have 8 different ways to enter walleye. You have 6 boards, 6 leaderboards alone for your one walleye. Okay, you have 2 more that are your best 5 over the course of 36 hours, and whoever catches the most documented fish in 36 hours. Like, so that's all walleye. And that is the epitome of Walleye Fest. A fest is when you celebrate something, and we're celebrating the walleye. Doesn't have to just be the walleye. You know, why would it? Especially on our lake, when the yellow perch the yellow perch on our lake is as symbolic of our lake as the walleye is. And many people only fish for perch throughout the year. I know quite a few of them. So I thought that was a no-brainer. Same setup as last year. Are there some changes in the festival grounds? We're not doing the festival this year, Scott. And there will be some changes because we're moving the 4 measuring stations to the, what's up, E-Tricks? How we doing, Eric? Because I'm moving the measuring stations to the water. They're going to be at the boat ramps that we predominantly use. Oneida Shores, South Shore, Godfrey Point, and I'm still working on a 4th one. Those are the ramps that not everybody, but a lot of people are going to use, and they're going to be easy to get in and out of, centrally located around the lake. So if you have one that you want to run in quick and get entered, you're going to be able to do it. You don't have to stop, get in the truck, load the boat, whatever. You can get to it from the water, because I want to make sure that we protect our fish and our fishery. That's after last year and really seeing firsthand how many big fish we took out of the system. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, it's not a lot, but I don't want any. We're trying to catch the biggest fish in our lake. And once it's entered, the angler can do whatever legally he wants to with that fish. I'm not saying, nor is the Derby saying in an official basis, that we want people to release them. That has nothing to do with, it's your fish, you caught it, you do what you want with it. For us, for Walleye Fest, we just want a picture and a measurement, and that's it. And as quickly as, and that means if you are going to release it, as quickly as it can get back in the water, the better off it is, the more it's going to spawn in years to come, and the better we are. I'm not sure if Rebel Seat's playing a joke on me. Have you put out an email to the Amish community to inform them about Walleye Fest? I have not. I thought about smoke signals, though, but I did not. Bob Rourke, have you settled on the entertainment yet? Only partially. We have, again, this year, we're doing the kickoff party Friday night at the pier here in Central Square, right on the river. Kitty corner from Bruton Speedway. Now, part of the deal with Bruton Speedway, because we're a sponsor, because Friday night, May 3rd, is their opening night race, and it's our kickoff party. So if you already have your ticket to Walleye Fest, you're going to be able to get in and go see the race at a reduced rate, and we hope everybody does, even if it's for a little while. And then if you come over to the pier, Josh and Grizzly Ridge are playing again. Josh Deakins and Grizzly Ridge are playing again inside the pier for the party. I got a couple great ideas too. I have a bunch of fish. We were talking about eating fish earlier. I kept a bunch of fish late last year because I was going to do a Feast of the Seven Fishes and have it be 7 different species that I caught. So I had 5 freshwater and 2 saltwater species, but I never did. I never ended up doing it. So I think that maybe we'll do something like that for the kickoff party and have some free samples going around while the bar's open and the cash bar's open and the music's playing. So there'll be other food as well, and we'll have a couple food trucks in the parking lot. But that's going to be a great time. And we had 300-400 people come out for that last year. That was a riot. I am very, very much looking forward to that again Friday night at the pier. So we have the country band Grizzly Ridge playing for Friday night, and I'm working on a band possibly for Sunday during just before the be like from noon to 1 or 1:30. While we're doing the Derby finalizing and we're doing all of the lie detector tests in that hour and a half, 2 hours. So we may have another band for Sunday at Brewerton Speedway. Let's see. Yeah, Tony, I'm looking at your comments. I don't know what that means. I thought Bob was just making a joke, as he typically does. I don't want to get involved in someone else's deal, but I see your comment. I don't know really what it means. Babe, Eric is asking about free pierogies. Fish pierogies. Oh, man. Troy, any recommendations for a good place to eat staying in Brewerton? Troy, we are working right now. If you go to walleyefest.com, we have a lodging and food page basically where we have given free advertising to anybody that has and if you know anybody that has Airbnbs or anything like that out there, we're reaching out to people like that to give them a free listing on the website because of all the people that are going to be coming very soon. So you're asking me out a place to eat. There's tons of places. You're staying in Brewerton. There's a couple places right in Brewerton. The city of Syracuse is 15 minutes away on there's the Wild Horse, which is on the water. There's what are the places in town?
Bear Creek Grill.
Bear Creek. What's the other one? Down Brewery Union. Brewery Union. Yep. So there's 3 excellent choices right in town. If you don't want to leave. Jake's. Yep. Yep. Jake's, the waterfront. Just find an empty camp and squat there. That's legal now, or it's going to be. Imagine that. Imagine going out to your camp and finding somebody there and you can't do anything about it. I don't want to get political, but when Courtney and I went to Los Angeles 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, 5 years this summer. I have family all through the greater Los Angeles area, and we went to stay with my godfather the first night, and he is in Marina del Rey, just south of Santa Monica and Venice Beach. So we took a walk the next morning. We got up and we took a walk down the beach, and I've been to Venice Beach before when I lived out there. My wife hadn't, and I wanted to show her all around, and the amount of homeless people that were laying on the beach and on the sidewalks and any place they could, in people's yards, in their bushes, on their lawn, in cars, all over, parked everywhere, just living out of them. It was horrible. It broke my heart to see humanity so neglected. But they had already talked and they had already enacted the law out there. One of my relatives was telling me about it. That you don't have the right to get them off your property. I don't imagine the state says you don't have to worry about paying your property taxes, though. Yeah, Bear Creek is very good. See you, Bob. Eric, have a great night. All right, I am going to look real quick here. So right now we've got 42 votes, and it's 43% to stay at 10 places, and it's 57% to go back to 25. That's interesting. Um, that's very interesting. It doesn't. We have time. Doesn't matter to me either way. Um, I guess like I say, I just assumed that people would rather have a bigger check than more checks, but it it's just an assumption, and assumptions are wrong. What else? And another thing, I had a few people reach out to me. The way I set this derby up is the main leaderboard is what everybody gets into when you buy your ticket. And if you don't want anything else, if it's confusing, if whatever, then don't get in any of the optional boards. Boom. You click buy one ticket, it asks your name, you fill it out, and you're done. It's just like last year. You're done. You don't, that's why they're optional. I wanted to give people options if they wanted to do more. Maybe we'll have a ton of people want to do more. Maybe we'll have nobody want to do more. I don't know. But I want to find out. Excuse me. Leftover Easter dinner was delicious. And again, it really is that simple. If you're not into any of the other boards, then you're not into it, and you don't have to. They're all optional. If you don't want that option, you don't take it. That's as simple as it can be. Oh, Tony, I'm assuming you're. Yeah, Tony, I'm assuming you're commenting on my what I just said about the homeless. Um, it came through a little jumbled, though, I think. Chief Stone, I think that someone potentially winning a few bucks seemingly would bring them back next time for a chance to move up the board. 25 places seems like the right choice. Yeah, I I agree. I like I say, and so far it's running about half. So we'll see. Uh, let's open it up to questions. I can't believe that everybody watching, only one person went fishing today. Um, I let you down, Don. I should have went this morning. I should have got up and went for an hour or two and called it, but no biggie. Tomorrow's a new day. Got a lot done today. I'm not complaining. I had a good day at work. You don't say that very often. I had a good day at work. I got a ton of sheetrock hung today, which is no small feat on your own. And all right. Anybody have any other questions? Any questions I can answer? No? Newman? Bueller? All right. Sounds awesome. Okay, everybody. Oh, I did want to say I went fishing yesterday by myself. I went up to Oswego and I fished up there on Friday with some friends, and then I put out the video Saturday morning. I didn't do anything up there with those guys while we were fishing on Friday because the wind was howling so bad the audio would have been non-existent, and we didn't have much of a day. We had one small salmon, a couple beat ups, and a bunch of bass. Smallmouth are all over in the harbor, which is odd that the whole harbor is 40 degrees, yet the trout aren't there, at least not much. Thad Lance, will there be walleye pins again this year? And if so, will it be the same design as last year? Um, Thad, I'm on the fence about pins too, because I bought 1,000 of them last year and I didn't even give out 300 to people. I told everybody, but it didn't seem like that important of a thing. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna take care of that. I can't. Well, it's not letting me. So I went back up yesterday, and it turned out it was actually rougher than it was on Friday. Um, I did troll. I put out that video. I got my new rod trees and my new Big John planer otter boat planer boards, and they run beautiful. I'll tell you. And in those 4+ foot swells coming in the front door right there, they rode through them like 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 you wouldn't believe. Um, I had one small brown. I trolled for about 3 hours. I had one small brown, and 5, 6 smallmouth trolling. And then I said, well, I'm like, this isn't working. So I ran up into the river and believe it or not, I back trolled down the current, just like I would in my drift boat with my trolling motor on the big boat. And I did have one pinned it right over and it come off. So put it on spot lock right in the current, because there's not a lot of current up there right now for this time of year. Maybe that's why there's not many browns around. And I did get outside the harbor, outside the east wall, and I made it down almost to the wastewater treatment plant before I turned around. And it was getting a little sporty down that way. So I turned around and came back to the harbor. But everything was in a degree of each other. It was 40.3 in the river, and it was like 41 outside, and it was 40.7 all the way through the harbor. It was really odd. And then I went up in there and I casted in the river for a little while, and I ended up catching 3 or 4 more big smallmouth, but not a trout to be had. So, not sure. A couple weeks ago, when I was out with some friends, you couldn't get out of Oswego. There was still ice in the back bay up there covering Wright's Landing. They do have a dock in now, but there wasn't any docks in, which isn't a big deal if you can power load and you have somebody to launch you. But it wasn't usually that harbor is just gold this time of year, and I've been up there twice in 3 days and caught 2 fish, 2 trout that I was chasing. So go figure. Are we selling T-shirts? Yes, we'll have some T-shirts there for sale. Yes. Let's get some walleyes is right, Tony. Right on. All right. Anybody other questions? Anybody? We're at 40 minutes. That's probably enough. Again, the poll's up. I'm going to put the poll on Facebook here for the rest of the evening into tomorrow. It looks like right now, after I get off here, I have another meeting with the web developers to see where we stand. They were getting all the last minute fixes done. I'm going to say this week, it might even be tomorrow, that tickets will be on sale. It was supposed to be today. We just weren't able to do it. We've been working all weekend through the holiday weekend trying to get it ready. But it didn't happen today. That's okay. I want to put it out perfectly as opposed to haphazardly. When we start selling tickets, it's on, and I don't want any snafus. So we're working very hard behind the scenes to make this tournament experience smooth and boom. Bill Gilbert, can you mail them? I would need about 2,000 miles of line to get my lure in a night of lake. Well, that's because you went to Florida, Bill. That's because you got to move back to New York. Get away from all that sunshine and warm weather down there. Gee, my wife's shaking her head. If you got an extra room, she'll come down with you. So yeah, we will have. Typically, no. Yeah, Bill. Of course, I'll send you one. No question. Yes, we will have some T-shirts. I don't know about pins. Maybe that'll be the next poll. Is yeah. I don't know about pins. It didn't. Nobody seemed to really didn't really seem to be a big deal for anybody last year. Which whatever. I wanted to make sure we had them, and we did. And the people that wanted them got them. So I guess that's the good news. The bad news is I'm sitting on a bunch of them, but whatever. No biggie. Okay, everybody. I'm going to call it an evening, at least for this, and I'm on to more Walleye Fest stuff. So thank you, everybody, for joining me this evening. If you have questions, you can always reach out. You keep your eye on WalleyeFest.com. That will be where we buy tickets, just like last year, and we will. Bob, you're sitting on pins. I bet that hurts. Real funny, Bob. All right, everybody, have a great evening. I will talk to you somewhere tomorrow. Keep your tip up. Walleye Fest, baby. It's coming soon.